Our top story on the violence in Iraq. Let's go to London now and speak to the political analyst Sabah al-Mukhtar. Sabah, good to have you on the programme. Nouri al-Maliki, the Prime Minister, has sort of hinted that federalising the country, splitting it up into different regions for different ethnicities is not out of the question. Do you think it's going to happen?
No, I don't think it's going to happen because it's not workable. The idea of federation cannot be based on sectarian or ethnicity grounds. It's usually a geographical situation. Baghdad is composed of Kurds, Shiites and Sunnis, and some regions like the Kurdish region is mostly Kurds, most of the south are Shiites, most of the center and the west are Sunnis, but at the same time the capital of the country, which has almost a quarter of the population, is made up of all those groups. So the idea that somehow you can have a federation is a nonsensical one. Although some of the so-called tribal leaders are calling for it, there is a great division between the people who are calling for the federation and the rest of the people, the rest of the nation, because the federation is not a workable situation. The problem they have in Iraq, it's first of all, it stems from the constitution, which is a sectarian one. Secondly, you have a government in Baghdad, which is principally has no control. The administration there, the Council of Ministers misses something like 6 of the main ministers. The Prime Minister, he's a Prime Minister and 3 ministers at the same time. He cannot talk to Parliament. Parliament is not meeting because of the government. There is a split within the political process between Maliki and Alawi, and at the same time there is a great difference between the government and the whole of the population of Iraq.
Let me push you on this one. If there is to be no kind of splitting the country into different federations, what is the answer to what seems to be increasing sectarian strife in a country that needs nothing of the sort?
Well, at the present moment, I think the biggest problem they have is that there is no effective government in Iraq, there is no effective parliament, and there is a dictatorship. The dictatorship of Saddam Hussein has been replaced by the dictatorship of Maliki, according to all those who are participating with him in government. So I think if they have less dictatorship, a little more rule of law, a little less sectarian inclinations, I think this would go a long way to go. Plus the main demands.
Strong person? Who is the person who could actually see the vision as outlined by you and put it into practice? How could it happen?
Well, how it could happen, I think the Western powers, in particular the USA, regardless of the influence of Iran, can still muster quite a lot of power. The United Kingdom and Europe have a lot of influence on the government of Iraq, maybe not as much as they want, but they still have a lot of influence. If you isolate the regime, if you put pressure on them, just as much as we do with Syria, just as much as we do with Iran, just as much as we do with other countries that we do not approve of their policies. But the idea at the present moment, the West is actually acquiescing to the whole thing because they are arguing that there is no alternative. The alternative is to put pressure on this government, and it will change. If Maliki changes, if you have if he resigns and they have a proper election, some sort of a better election, less sectarian one, if you amend the constitution where the parliament has identified 97 articles to be amended, if these are carried out, I think at least it would go some way toward the society living like another civilized society.
We thank you very much indeed for your thoughts on that. That's Sabah al-Mukhtar.